President of Armenia, Armen Srkisian, welcome to Jordan and welcome to our show. This is an honor for us, really. Congratulations on completing your first year of presidency, 9th of April 2018. What was your first thought when you became president? How does it feel waking up with the burden of an entire country on your shoulders? You're a human at the end of the day.
Well, to be honest, I don't think that I woke up with a feeling that the burden of entire country was on my shoulders. I think the burden or the task of making Armenia successful is on the shoulders of every citizen of Republic of Armenia.
True.
Even those who are from Nagorno-Karabakh, especially all those who live outside, the Armenian great diaspora. There are 3-4 times more Armenians living abroad than in Armenia. So it's a small state, but a global nation. So I think we are sharing that burden together. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's an honor for every Armenian to serve the country. And I was honored for years because I used to be one of Armenia's first diplomats abroad and was serving for our foreign relations for many years. Mm-hmm. And then I was for a short period of time, I was prime minister for the country. So serving your own country is it's not a duty. In my case, mm-hmm. when I was asked to agree to put my candidacy my name as a candidate for presidency, it took for a while for me to think about it. Not about am I ready or not, but about how it's going to be working out. Mm-hmm. First of all, with the 9th of April 2018, it was not only that I was elected president, but from that date, the new constitution of Armenia started working. Mm-hmm. So it's not only just a new president, but also a new constitution, mm-hmm. which always a challenge. But it became even more complex because the former president was elected by the parliament as the new prime minister, but there was a uprising against that decision of the parliament, and in fact, in 2 weeks' time, we had a big political change, yes, which is known in some parts of the world or internationally as the Armenian Velvet Revolution. Being velvet means without excessive force, without any casualties, which is a great achievement for everybody. I had my role to play there to make sure that this transition was peaceful. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great achievement because we appeared in front of international public, in front of the world as a civilized nation that can have dramatic changes run in a proper human way, in a democratic way. So becoming a president of the country was a big change, plus the change of constitution, and plus another revolution. So you can imagine what was it together. So to be honest, from day one until today, I'm just working hard because there are so many issues related to the country. And since then, we had twice already new government, and we had parliamentary elections in December. There's a new government here run, which is led by Mr. Pashinyan, who was the leader of the opposition movement and the leader of the revolution. And the country is facing challenges. There are political challenges, of course. Armenia has a challenge related to the issue of Nagorno-Karabakh. Mm-hmm. And that's an issue between Nagorno-Karabakh, Azerbaijan, and of course Armenia. We still don't have resolved issues with our other neighbor, Turkey, which is connected with the events of Armenian genocide in 1915. We have good relations with two our neighbors, which are Iran and Georgia especially. Mm-hmm. So that Armenia, being a landlocked country, a country like Jordan, mm-hmm. where the country that is not rich in big natural resources like oil and gas. We have other natural resources like copper, gold, molybdenum, ferromolybdenum, and others. But the biggest asset of the country most probably are the humans, like here in Jordan. I think this is a country where human values, and I think human resource is huge. Armenia has a very well established academias, universities, very high level of education. And as I was saying initially, it's a small state, but it's a global nation, very well connected to the world. And that's a great asset in this new world. Probably the one difference that we have with Jordan is that Armenia is rich in water. Well, I know that in Jordan you still have to value much more than in Armenia the water resources. The water resources in Armenia are quite substantial. Otherwise, being here in Jordan today is very important. First of all, I'm visiting a very, very friendly country, and the country that for a long period of time is run by a royal family that has been always good to our Armenians, that had left their homeland and then found the refuge and later settled here. And there is no way that any Armenian can forget that. So from that point of view, it's coming to a home of a very, very old and very, very good friend. Secondly, I'm here for the World Economic Forum.
Yes.
It's not the first time I've been here before when I was a free man. And I'm still enjoying it because it's interesting that we have these discussions about the region, about the Middle East. And for me, Armenia is also a part of the Middle East as well.
Absolutely. So you're a physicist. You've worked with esteemed world-class universities, Cambridge and Harvard, namely. And you were the ambassador of Armenia in London for the longest time and the prime minister. And today you're the president. So which of these did you enjoy the most and why?
Well, I think there's a simple answer to that. My experience of life showed me that at the end of the day you have to enjoy every moment of your life. Every moment of your life.
Absolutely.
And I think probably the best time of my life is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
So the best is yet to come.
Of course. At the end of the day, you have to value every day because that's a great present to you by God, by nature, by your parents, by the family, that you are here alive and living a life. And the best thing, of course, if you have a life, is to live a creative life. I mean, something that you do something useful every day and make use of human value, which I...
And connections as well.
Yes,
human connections and value.
No, the thing is that being a human, when I think about humans, I think about people, ladies and men, that have these wonderful qualities of creativity, innovation, love to your homeland, to your country, to humanity, to this nature, to your family, to your children. I think it's a great enjoyment to be living on this planet, which is called Earth.
Yes, absolutely, the special
planet. And as I said, probably the best times of my life are in the future.
That's a very optimistic answer.
It's not optimistic, it's a very practical as well.
Practical as well.
Because every day is a new day and you never know what has happened. I really enjoyed every moment of my life while being a scientist, while being in diplomacy or in business, now again in political life. If you don't enjoy your life, you are wasting one of the most valuable things in your life.
Yes.
The valuable things are your family, your children, your homeland. But there's one very valuable thing, which is your time. Wasting it is the biggest
It's the most expensive thing we own, right? Time.
Well, it's not the most expensive. It's that thing which is called time doesn't have a value.
Yes.
It's so huge that you cannot you cannot give me a number.
A price tag to it.
No.
Yes. So, Mr. President, in your opinion, what are the fundamental measures of a successful leadership, and what advice would you give to the younger generation, or to the younger generation that are striving and aspiring to be change makers in their communities?
Well, it's difficult to give an advice, even to your children, because every individual, if the individual is your child, and you think that your children are just continuation of your life, which is wrong.
Yes, we don't own our kids.
Not only we don't own, where they are not our photocopies, and a lot of people, including me, when you're young, you are making the crucial mistake, thinking that your children are more or less like you, or they will think like you, or they will act like you. After a while, you realize that every individual, every child is unique, and absolutely unique. They are born with a talent.
True.
And every child is born with a talent. There are some children that have mathematical talent. There are the other ones in music, in arts, in crafts. There are great children that have this, just making simple chair or a table, but sometimes that craft becomes an art. There are so many famous craftsmen that have created pieces of art.
Yes.
There are people, individuals that have the quality or the talent of speaking, or there are the ones that have the quality of listening.
Yes.
And hearing, not only listening, but
Yes.
also hearing. So every child is with a talent. So the challenge is, at the end of the day, to discover the talent in the child. So when you're asking me what sort of an advice I will give to younger people, and there may be parents, is try to find your talent, or try to help your child to find their own talent. You are going to live in 21st century, that things are going to change very fast.
Absolutely.
So you have to have the quality of adapting yourself to the changes of this world. Because one thing I can guarantee to them is that there'll be no stability in your life. There'll be changes all the time.
Change is the only constant.
Yeah, the only thing that will be constant will be non-constant behavior
Yes.
of the world,
Yes.
people around you. So you have to be able to adapt when the environment changes for you. Be innovative. I think that's the one thing that the world is going to need in 21st century, because this is a new world of a lot of children are born
Yes.
and an iPad in their hand. So this is going to be a completely different world.
Yep.
And in that world, high-tech technology, innovation, from quantum computing up to artificial intelligence will be normal in the lives of our children. So they have to be ready for innovational work, because this world is going to be a world of startups, which is different than the world was 30 years
Yes.
ago. 30 years ago, the world was the world of big multinational companies and vertical power. Now this power is more and more horizontal, in the sense that the big companies in the world now, if you look at them, they are not the big multinationals that are the oil, mining, or in engineering. The big companies are the ones that started in a garage, startups, Microsofts, Googles,
Yes.
Facebooks of this
Yeah.
world. So welcome to the 21st century. Be creative, free,
Yes.
adapt yourself, be fast, and be free, and find your own talent.
Yes.
Because you
Find
have
your
to
own
do
talent.
things that you really enjoy. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Otherwise, you're wasting your life.
Yes, yes. Mr. President, what can you tell me about the Armenian women, or the role of Armenian women?
They are beautiful.
Oh! Besides they're beautiful, they're in what areas are they more involved in what are they good at? Tell me a bit more about the Armenian women.
Well, it is very difficult to describe Armenian women as if you are going to describe yourself,
Yes.
or your family, or your mother, or your wife, or your sister. I think, as in every nation, I think women are not only equal, I think they are more important sometimes than men, because they are the ones that are taking care of our children. They are the ones that are teaching our language to them, basics of our culture.
True.
The first poetry, the first prayer, is not men. It's the woman, the mother is they're doing it. And in the case of our Armenians, because we are, as I told you, 3 to 4 times bigger as a nation than the state of the Republic of Armenia. So when you live in diaspora outside Armenia, be that, Armenians live from Far East to Middle East, from Syria to Jordan up to California or Buenos Aires. I think they are the keepers of our tradition and culture. So Armenian women also have the task of keeping, transferring the culture, the language, the religion,
Yes.
and the values related to national identity of Armenians. And of course, there are so many Armenian. I think every woman is beautiful. It's like the talent. You have to find the beauty of every woman.
Yes.
And well, we men are there also to support. Once my wife said that if you find a successful woman, in many cases, there is a smart man behind
her.
But it's a smart one, she said. So I do believe in that the beauty of it, to help your mother, wife, or sister to be successful, you have to be there, you have to be supportive, and do that carefully and smartly.
Yes, teamwork is much needed in every area, really.
Yeah.
So if I were to move on to tourism a little bit between Jordan and Armenia, what do you think is the best way to strengthen and advance the tourism between Jordan and Armenia? And if so, do you have any plans to do so?
Both Armenia and Jordan, they are both countries that have huge potential of tourism. And in both cases, I don't think that we have reached a sort of a saturation. There is so much that we can do. And there are so many things that are connected, are more or less the same. So if you take Jordan, it's a country, it's a beautiful country, wonderful people. I'm not speaking about food, hospitality, that's obvious. But also there is a country that can develop and should be developed more, more tourism related, for example, to religion as well. Because Jordan is a place where you can find many religions. And if you take, for example, Islam and Christianity, Jordan is a home for both. I mean, it's a historic home of both.
Yes, yes.
So I arrived yesterday here, and I went to River Jordan. And I think the royal family in Jordan is directly linked to Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah.
So what more do you want to have? The same is in Armenia at the end of the day. Armenia is the first country in the world that adopted Christianity as a state religion in the year 301. Yes. So you can find early Christianity and pre-Christianity, like in Jordan as well. You can find Christianity, and before the Hellenic period of Armenia, now going to several thousands of years of history. So among other types of tourism, both Armenia and Jordan can, and I think they should develop tourism which is related to their history and to their culture and religion.
So my last, it's not really a question, it's a request. What message would you have to your global Armenian society, and in specific your Armenian society in Jordan?
Well, the Armenian society in Jordan, first of all, I would say that they are lucky that they are living in a wonderful country, where the leaders of this country, Jordan, for many generations have been very supportive to Armenians. We're going back several generations back of the royal family here. When Armenian refugees came to Jordan, they got full support of the king and the royal family. I think, first of all, Armenians in Jordan have to appreciate that and remember forever. Secondly, being The second advice to the communities in many countries, including in Jordan, is that you should never live in a ghetto. First of all, you should be a good citizen of Jordan and then also a good Armenian. You should be a part of this society. You should be actively involved in economic, business, academic, or political life of Jordan. Very, very important. And remember a wonderful phrase that was said by our famous poet, singer, composer, Charles Davur.
I adore him. Used to. No.
No, I think you can continue adoring him like the world is adoring. And he said simple things. I'm 100% Armenian and I'm 100% French. So we Armenians living in other countries have to be, in Jordan, they have to be 100% Jordanian and 100% Armenian. That's my advice.
Absolutely. Mr. President, thank you so much for your time. It's an absolute pleasure for us to have this chat with you. Thank you so much.
The pleasure was mine.
Thank you.
Thank you.